Hello, Yash. Welcome back
Yeah, thank you.
with new questions.
It's a journey, a never-ending journey,
Yeah.
never-ending evolution. So, last podcast, we discussed about perception of life, and today's agenda was experience of life.
Experience of life.
So, what comes to my mind is, do we really live, and do we really experience our living? So, first question where I want to start is, what is the difference between living the life and experiencing the life? Means how those two things are different, and
Very
how
good.
my perception of life, boundaries, whatever we have discussed, uh, result in uh, experiencing a life or living the life.
Wonderful. Living the life is going through the routines because we can't help it.
Yes.
We live moment to moment, moment to moment. Some moments we actually have experiences. Other moments most of the time, we actually don't have experiences.
Yeah.
Experiences happen in special moments. Why do we go for holidays, vacations, Kashmir, Switzerland? To experience. Snow देखना है. My daughter has gone to Iceland. I was in Lakshadweep and he took us for snorkeling and बोट में से उतार करके उसने हमको वो क्या बोलते हैं कोरल 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 दिखाने के लिए नाक मुंह में एक पाइप दे करके
Yeah.
और चश्मा दे करके और अंदर समुद्र के नीचे देखने लगा. दैट वाज एन एक्सपीरियंस.
Yeah.
रेस्ट ऑफ ऑल वाज लिविंग.
Hmm.
इफ दैट इज क्लियर वी कैन मूव ऑन. इफ दैट इज नॉट we'll elaborate more on
No, that is
that.
absolutely
एक और
clear.
एग्जांपल. एक और एग्जांपल. Have you ever been on a this giant wheel thing
Many times.
many times? So the experience is when you are on the swing.
Hmm.
Rest of all is only living. जाना, टिकट खरीदना,
Right.
उस पार होना, बाहर निकलना. That is living. Experience is when it is in full swing, and even though you know that it is safe, you cry for help.
Hmm.
Fine.
But that brings on to another fundamental question.
Hmm.
If we look at on experience of life like this, then it's just some fraction of my life which I'm actually experiencing, and the rest of it is just living. So, is there a possibility that the living becomes the experiencing part? So, if we can somehow interchange both of them, or is there are there any tools available, or is there anything what I can do? Because we define perception of life. So, what I feel is if we change our perception of life, a living could become an experience as well. Uh,
Wonderful. So actually, what do I experience and what do I not depends on the sensitivity with which I approach it. When you're on a swing, you are intensely focused on it.
yeah,
That is why that is an experience. Whereas going, buying a ticket and this and that, that is living. You don't experience it. You don't notice the face of the person who is giving you the ticket.
mm,
You don't notice the person who sees the ticket and allows you in.
yeah,
So our perception of life actually is formed by the experiences that I narrated that we carry. Mind does not store living experiences. Mind stores only experiences which we have. And mind does two things in that. One, it reacts. Second, it accumulates
mm,
for a future response in a similar situation.
yeah,
So, to answer your question, yes, certainly. If you are present in this moment, watchful in this moment, mindful in this moment, the living will turn into experiencing this moment.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So it ends up at the level of awareness, because if I take that example of swing, my focus and entire awareness is on that swing. I'm seeing that when I will get my turn, there are people in queue, there are people already sitting in a swing, and seeing from the queue, I'm already trying to visualize myself sitting there and experiencing that. So that focus has been now shifted from uh, to be aware of the moment of the person who is actually checking my ticket, who are in the queue along with me, the people who are going to uh, co-enjoy that swing. But my focus is entirely on that particular event. Yeah,
Actually, when I'm in the queue, who is the person behind me and who is the person ahead of me? They're experiencing them.
yeah,
So, in a nutshell, we can say living is more of an unconscious, unregistered activity,
yes.
whereas experiencing is more of a conscious activity.
The mundane things which we do on a regular basis, they can all come and classified in living part of it.
Yeah.
So one another question of somehow it's clear now, but still I don't want to leave any corners. So what if I look at perception of life and experience of life, they both sounds to me like synonyms in this context. If I see perception of life is something very similar to experience of life. So how do you differentiate in these two terms?
Beautiful. It is very, very natural and very likely to collapse the two. And it is important to uncollapse the two.
Hmm.
Experiencing life and the perception of life. Experiencing life in those moments, I mean, after in those moments when I'm not merely living but experiencing, is vis-a-vis something. It's something which actually happened, which I experienced. Let's say a girl gets raped. In different societies, getting raped would mean different thing. But according to the going on value system, that moment is an experience of trauma.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, mind stores experiences besides reacting to them. This trauma and what that mind, that small innocent girl's mind experiences, forms her perception of life.
Hmm.
दुनिया जालिम है, हर आदमी दरिंदा है, एंड शी कमिट सुसाइड. मेरा धर्म भ्रष्ट हो गया. So experiencing is physical, vis-a-vis nature, vis-a-vis other human beings. That's really what is going on, which gives rise to my perception about life, as in, who am I in the universe? What is my purpose of life? How am I surrounded by somebody living in Rajasthan will have a different perception of life because there are different experiences of life than someone who's living in a coastal, let's say Kochi. Someone being in army, posted in border, under the bullets, will have a different perception of life as a whole, than someone who's maybe repairing people's shoes on a footpath.
Hmm. True. Very true. So
So
I think,
perception, yeah,
sorry.
carry on, carry on.
So I think these two things is like chicken and egg. The perception device defines your experience, and then experience further defines your perception. So they are
Yeah,
interlinked.
they do. interlinked but distinct.
But distinct. Yeah.
Perception of life is more of abstract.
Mm.
Experience is more of real.
Yeah.
And rest of it is just time pass living.
Yes.
Yes.
And this also lead to a point where people often, like the rape example you took, then people often take that experience and think why life is so unfair or why life is like that just for them. Uh, and that, I think that becomes an obstruction in their path of progress, and they're stuck there, and their entire life is driven by that.
As I said
So,
earlier, experience is reacted by the mind in two ways. One is the immediate reaction. Second is storing.
hmm,
Somehow our minds are trained to evaluate experiences, particularly on the kasauti of good or bad, desirable or undesirable. So I have seen many people, मेरे साथ ही क्यों होता है?
hmm,
एक नंबर से मुझे ही मिस करना था क्या एग्जाम का रिजल्ट? Inability to accept life.
hmm,
Life is life. You decide whether it is fair or it is not fair. You have parameters. If it works for me, it is fair. If it doesn't work for me, it is fair. The person who just qualified as the last person in the merit list doesn't say I'm lucky. He says I'm meritorious.
I deserve it.
I am brilliant. But the person who misses it by 1 mark, his experience is different. His mind responds to it in a different way. His mind accumulates these experiences. And when some such experiences get accumulated, bad experiences, unfavorable, undesirable, or bad, he starts blaming himself or questioning himself कि I am the unlucky one, my stars are bad. मेरी कुंडली में क्या लिखा है?
Yeah. So, one another question means there are two ways to see it. One is obviously the challenges and problems what we face in life, and then we try to mark them as unfair fair. But I'm just going back to that example of rape. That's a very traumatic incident someone go through. Uh, then how someone can accept that type of trauma and move ahead? Like that is one trauma. Another could be if you lose someone very dear to you in your family. How you pass through that trauma and accept it, and again move forward in your life. So
Wonderful, wonderful. Recall 1947, large scale migration across the border. People saw their kins dying. Some have survived, reached a survival camp. 50 years or 70 years, 75 years from then, the generations of each of them is doing extremely well.
yep.
Every migrant's successors, it is second or third generation now, extremely well. Because many of their boundaries got broken, became unimportant because of that one experience of that one night. Delhi has a lot of such people. They're pragmatic. They don't have this sense of good or bad. They only have this sense of survival. And the survival extends into excelling. And they excel.
Hmm.
So, how to do this is brand an experience only as an experience and not as a truth.
And don't label it. Don't
And
label it
don't
as
carry it. Don't carry it. Live it.
yeah.
It is an experience, it is an experience. Don't brand it good, bad, desirable, undesirable, anything. Yeah. Yes.
Very profound, uh, but still, I think that requires a lot of courage and probably a level of awareness. Uh, and once you reach at that level of awareness, then only you start seeing your life as an experience rather than as a uh, some moment of or event which is fair and unfair to you, and you're stuck in that cycle, vicious cycle of labeling things in these two categories: fair, unfair, good, bad, like, dislike. Uh, yeah,
Because of the value system that we are forced to adopt. All value systems are secondary to the value of surviving. If someone has actually gone through an experience of the threat to survival, all this good, bad, religion, this, that, all that vanishes. Then you only focus on surviving and excelling. You
beautiful.
don't need any enlightenment for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think very powerful dose. It's a good point where we can, I think, conclude. Although many questions are coming to my mind, like the continuity of flow. The next thing what comes to my mind is, considering all these aspects, what is the purpose of life then? Uh,
Hmm.
but I feel it will be an overdose. Maybe I'll pass this question for the next episode, and probably we can start from there.
So it is within these experiences, exposure and perception, that
Hmm,
one chooses, or even without choosing,
hmm,
without articulating, settles on one's purpose of life.
hmm,
Everyone has a purpose of life, which is defined by that person himself or herself,
hmm.
whether it is articulated or not. Yeah, perfect. Next session we can talk about purpose of
I
life.
think what this podcast, if I try to summarize it and put a essence around it, then this podcast for me highlights like your experience of life is sacred and it's unique and it's ever evolving. So you must start accepting it. Once you start accepting it, then your perception of life, your boundaries, your source of conflict, they all changes. The dimension and the way you are living your life, it entirely changes. So thanks for this profound knowledge, and yeah, thanks,
Welcome whenever you're ready for the next podcast.
absolutely, thanks. Bye.
Bye.